Hi, my name is Julia Mace. I'm an occupational therapist with Northwest Regional ESD. The title of this presentation is Zones of Regulation and Other Supports for in the Home. I have 4 learning goals for the presentation. 1 is to provide you with tips for co-regulating with your child. 2nd, offering you strategies for using the zones of regulation at home. 3rd, we will review additional regulation supports. And 4th, together we'll create a plan for your next step. So let's start out by answering the question, what is self-regulation? Self-regulation is the ability to understand and to manage your own behavior and reactions. It helps children to learn to get along with others and become independent. It begins to develop rapidly in the toddler and preschool years and continues to develop into adulthood. Much like math, science, and reading, co-regulation is a learned skill. Self-regulation is actually taught through co-regulating. So let's answer the question, what is co-regulation? It is noticing your child is experiencing an emotion and supporting them to feel better. It is modeling your own thoughts, feelings, and coping strategies to teach them how to calm and regulate. It is creating opportunities for your child to regulate their own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. I have 4 tips to provide you to support co-regulating. 1 is build through connection. Get at your child's eye level. Be with them in their state of emotion. 2 is hear and validate your child's emotions. 3 is create a safe space for your children to feel and regulate. And 4th, model the awareness and regulation that you want to teach. One of the best ways to support co-regulation is as simple as your next breath. Breathing. Breathing is a simple and very powerful tool that can help young children calm themselves when big feelings arise. Deep breathing exercises can literally slow a racing heart and help respond to stress in a healthier way. It works for everyone and it's free. So I'm going to show you one breathing exercise that you can do with your child. It's called Starfish Breathing. You have your hand, which will serve as the starfish, and you're going to trace along each finger. As you go up, you'll breathe in, and as you go down, you'll breathe out. So I'm going to demonstrate now for 5 breaths. If you'd like to follow along, breathe in, out. So that is an example of a breathing exercise you can do with your child. Let's do a quick review about what we've just learned regarding co-regulation. Which of the following statements are true regarding co-regulation? It involves 2 individuals. The caregiver creates a safe space for emotions to be worked through. The caregiver models the desired behavior. And all the above are true. And that is indeed true. All the above are true regarding co-regulation. Let's shift our focus over to zones of regulation. What exactly is the zones of regulation? It is a framework designed by an occupational therapist named Leah Kuipers. It builds a language around identifying our emotional state. It strengthens our problem-solving skills to regulate, and it is based on 4 targeted colors: red, yellow, green, and blue. Why would you want to use the zones of regulation? Well, it helps your child understand their emotions. Many K-12 programs use the zones of regulation, and actually both the caregiver and the child benefit from the zones hands-on approach. What you're looking at right now is one example of a zones of regulation chart. You'll notice there are 4 colors which represent the 4 zones. But I need to stress there are no right or wrong, good or bad zones. The zones of regulation is simply a tool. It gives a snapshot of how your child is with their emotional regulation at that point in time. So let's pause for a moment. What zone are you in right now? And why? Let's take a closer look at the colors. Red is an extremely heightened state of alertness with intense emotions, including mad, out of control, devastated. Yellow, the child is entering a heightened state of alertness where they appear to be heading towards the red zone, but they still have some self-control. Emotions include nervousness, silliness, frustration. Green is an optimal state of alertness where the child is seen as being in a ready-to-learn state with emotions including happy, calm, positive, and focused. Blue is a low level of alertness where the child appears to be moving slowly. Emotions include sick, sleepy, bored, and sad. So I've put together 3 steps to doing the zones of regulation at home. There are some prerequisites. The child does need to be able to identify basic emotions, to identify colors, to be able to participate in calming routines. So let's look at step 1. You're going to teach your child to match emotions to zones colors. Step 2, teach your child solutions to manage emotions. And step 3, use the zones of regulation as a guide to support your child and to co-regulate. Let's dive into step 1. Teach your child to match emotions to zones colors. So you would use a visual chart, such as the one pictured here on the slide, and explain the zones to your child. Have them practice matching faces of different emotions to the color. Comment, this child is angry. They are in the red zone. This child is feeling sick. They're in the blue zone. You can also model the language paired with the chart. You are mad. You are in the red zone right now. You are happy and so focused. You are in the green zone is another example. Now, step 2 is teaching your child about the tools that they can use to manage emotions and return to the green zone. There are suggestions here. Use visuals of different calming activities. Examples include photos and graphics of items or activities that can support your child. From a softball to squeeze, doing breathing exercises, tearing paper, going to a calm place, reading a book, getting a hug. These are examples of calming activities. You would want to use a graphic, a visual of some sort, because it offers the child support. Much like adults, when upset, children have a hard time listening and responding to verbal information. Now, the second suggestion is to act out emotions and coping using toys. For example, you would use puppets or stuffed animals, figurines to act out coping strategies to emotions. And the third suggestion is to make a zones toolbox. An example is pictured here. It's simply a shoebox that's been covered with red paper. On the inside lid are graphics of calming activities, and inside the box are props. Here's another example of a zones toolbox. It's simply a plastic bin. Within it are the zones colors to reference, some visuals of breathing exercises, simple activities a child can do with their hands, such as popping bubble wrap, squeezing Play-Doh, playing with the toy car. You'll see a green timer. The timer is important because it sets a boundary. It helps the child understand that they're going to use the toolbox for a set period of time. It's important to do a zones check-in before the child leaves the toolbox. They might not be back to green. They may need another type of activity in order to support them to regulate. Now, step 3. Once your child is familiar with the tools to manage their emotions, you are ready to use the zones to support your child at home. There are 2 key points. First, you want to use the zones tools on a consistent basis to check in with your child. Simply ask them, what zone are you in and why? Or you can comment, it looks like you're in the green zone. You are so focused while reading that book, as an example. The second key point is to use the zones toolbox and visual supports often to help your child manage their emotions and be green. You teach the use of the zones toolbox when the child is regulated so that they build confidence and capacity for using the tool. Here are a few examples of zones check-ins. These were pulled off of Google Images. There's a variety of different charts. And here are some examples of zone check-ins that you can actually create at home using toys such as Legos, simply placing colors on a piece of paper, or having your child create their own chart with faces and colors to match. Our second poll asks this question: what supports you to be green? I put a few activities that support me. They are finding a quiet place, getting a hug, cooking, going for a walk, cleaning, listening to music. But think about what supports you to be green. Keep in mind, some of the activities that support you may very well support your child to regulate as well. At this time, I'd like to shift our focus to other tips for supporting regulation in the home. Some of the best activities to support being green are often the ones that need to be done anyways. Having your child help in the kitchen, letting them play in a sink filled with bubbles, bathing, gardening, caring for a pet. Having a daily routine that is familiar is calming and regulating to all of us. I have a question for you. When was the last time you had an hour to do whatever you wanted with that time? For children, research shows that they should have at least 2.5 to 3 hours a day to be self-directed in their experiences and play. This slide is exploring what a calming space is. A calming space is a place for your child to take a break, to rest, to recharge. A calm space can be a cardboard box, a pop-up tent, the space between the couch and the wall, under the kitchen table. You may include some calming activities, such as fidget, a flashlight, a soft blanket, pillows, stuffed animals, headphones, and fidgets. Creating a calm space should include your child. Remember to keep it simple. Use what is familiar and preferred by your child. Excuse me. I wanted to take time to discuss behavior and offer some tips on what to do when big emotions arise. I encourage you first and foremost, remember to stop, take a breath, pause. Your child's behavior is communicating their state of regulation, and they need you to help model and co-regulate to be green. So first, take a moment and observe your child. What is it they're doing? What is their general level of arousal? What is happening around them? Are they attentive? Are they having trouble focusing? Are they organized or jumping from one activity to the next? After you observe your child, consider what is it that they need to regulate? Do they need more activity to wake up? Or do they need a release of energy in order to calm down? Do they need a complete change of setting to go outside to run an errand? Do they need a break from distractions such as TV or other people? Maybe they just need fewer choices. I put together this quick reference guide to calming supports for families. Keep in mind that each child is individual and has specific needs to consider. Not all of the suggestions are going to be appropriate or safe for your child. In the yellow box, you'll see calming supports that are considered to be portable. The idea here is that you have a child-sized backpack and your child puts items that are supportive to them in the backpack and they carry it with them to the car or to the community. It could be items such as sunglasses, a hat, water bottle, chewy snacks, stuffed animals, books, squeeze balls, fidgets, noise canceling headphones, a change of clothes. In the green box are some strategies to do while in the community. Be sure to tell your child ahead of time what's going on. Give them the opportunity to watch and not be pressured to participate. Do calming, organizing activities before potentially stressful events, and monitor your child's regulation when in the community. Use the zones of regulation. Try to offer strategies before they become upset. In the blue box are home-based calming activities. First, I put do large motor movements, such as playing on a climbing structure, jumping, doing animal walks, swinging, sliding. Generally speaking, large motor movements are organizing and calming to children. You can provide your child a snack or a drink of water, a focused activity such as Play-Doh, give them a massage, rock in a rocking chair, listen to music, a hug, the comfort of a beanbag chair. Give them a quiet space to retreat to, a bath, opportunity to play with water or assist with chores. Some strategies to consider at home is providing unstructured time to play without distractions. That includes the TV and technology. Allow the child to do as much for themselves as possible, from brushing their teeth to putting clothes in a hamper. You want to minimize stimulation in the environment, such as clutter, noise, and harsh lighting, and create routines that are the same each day. Here are 2 free regulation resource links. The first one is over 50 easy movement breaks to do at home. This is a wonderful website curated by an occupational therapist with a wealth of information for families. The second resource is a blog walking you through 5 deep breathing techniques. It offers visuals to go with the exercises. At this point, I'd like to review our learning goals. The first one was to provide tips for co-regulating with your child. The tips were connecting with your child, validating their emotions, creating a safe space for them to feel their emotions and to regulate, and to model what you want to teach. The second learning goal was to provide strategies for using the zones of regulation at home. The strategies included using visuals of different calming activities, acting out emotions, and coping using toys, and making a zones toolbox. The third goal was to review additional resources to support regulation. You'll have access to this quick reference guide to calming supports. And I've put together some online resources and references from the presentation on this slide. You'll notice at the bottom are excellent family resource websites. These are evidence-based resources that have PDFs, articles, blogs, and videos that really cover all of child development, specifically areas of social emotional learning, feeding, sleeping, and potty training. And the final learning goal, creating a plan for next steps. Let's take a few minutes to come up with your next step for using the information reviewed in this presentation. Some ideas include focusing on co-regulation by modeling your own regulation skills more intentionally. Introduce breathing strategies such as starfish breathing. Making a zones chart and placing the visuals where it can be seen, such as on the refrigerator or placing a copy in the car. Creating a calm space or a zones toolbox. Obviously, I'm not able to answer your questions at this time. However, feel free to reach out to Northwest Regional ESD with your questions, or if you would like the resources mentioned in the presentation. And in closing, I thank you for your time. I hope that this information has been helpful to you. And remember, there are no good or bad zones. Thank you.